Welcome. This video is an information transmission to help you find your truth so that you can be free. Today, we are discussing the difference between true fear and false fear, as well as how you can manage false fear. False fear has infected nearly everyone on our planet. It runs like wildfire around the globe, sweeping the unaware up in its horrible tide. Without exception, we would be much happier without it. Originally, fear was never intended to be a chronic psychological problem. Fear fulfilled an important function of survival, and it was designed to help your body to react to threats that could harm it. It wasn't originally an emotion as you experience it today. Instead, it was purely a rush of physical alarm signals, followed by instinctual physical responses. You fought or you fled, depending on the danger at hand. When you were out of danger, the signals and responses of fear immediately stopped. The original fear function started to become a parasitic energy that constantly wants to multiply itself by infecting others and awakening false fear in them as well. The reason this has happened is because we have forgotten our connection to the divine and our birthright of well-being through this divine connection. Instead of continuing to be a simple biological function, fear has become a consciousness of its own. On the one hand, we have false fear, where most of the fear we feel is false. On the other hand, we have true fear. True fear activates in the present moment only. True fear wants to protect you from harm, right here, right now. True fear guides you. When the danger passes, true fear goes to rest until it is needed again. False fear is focused in the future, and it tries to convince us that we are alone responsible for making sure we are safe, protected, and abundant. That we are all alone in this, that the worst could happen, that we better figure out what to do, and that we better figure out how to prevent bad things from happening in the future. It pushes us to rush around, trying to take control. But false fear is a bully and a parasite. It pushes you into a mental prison. False fear tells you that you should be in control, but you aren't, and therefore something horrible could happen. False fear messes up your manifestations, poisons your relationships, and robs you of your joy. I know that sounds pretty depressing, but we do have love, and love is always a stronger force than false fear. The fastest way to get rid of your false fears is to look at them and bring them into the love of your heart. Let's say that you are afraid for the safety and happiness of perhaps your child or a loved one. You know that you can't control them, and you can't control the world around them either. False fear says, you better worry, you better protect them. Deep down, you know that this is not possible. You can't protect them from everything and everyone, and you won't achieve anything positive by worrying about your lack of control. You only end up feeling helpless because false fear has convinced you that you need to be in control, and deep down, you know you can't. In reality, there is a much bigger, loving power in control. If you work with it, you will realize that you are not helpless at all, and that in fact, you are actually quite powerful. In my previous example, you can work in conjunction with this higher, loving power by imagining the best possible life for your child or loved one, speaking to them as if you know they will make the best possible choices, praying for their joy and safety with confidence. False fear doesn't allow you to realize your own power. But if you will embrace your inner loving power, false fear dies. So when you start feeling helpless, scared, and out of control, I suggest that you say to yourself, well, maybe I am helpless. Maybe I am scared. Maybe I am not in control. Let me love the parts of me that are scared and reassure them that divine love is in control. Let me put my faith in the higher power that loves me. Let me assist by imagining and focusing upon the best possible outcome. Let me stop feeding false fear and allow love to fuel me instead. You have free will in this world, and you can decide whether you want to enable false fear or to love away these fears in much the same way you would lovingly support a frightened child. Talk to those scared parts of your soul and embrace them. Don't push your fears away, or they will simply try different ways to get your attention. Instead, look at them and lovingly dissolve them in the light of love, because love is always and forever more powerful. Apply the following 3 steps to any situation in your life where you are feeling false fear. Step 1. Write your fear down. As simple as this sounds, writing down your worst fear will help you to externalize it. A lot of times we worry because we are so entangled in the problem. Have you noticed how getting an outside perspective helps? This is why so many people go for coaching too. Getting someone else's help allows you to see different perspectives. And by writing your fear down, you are also fully acknowledging that it exists. This leads to awareness, which is the first step and 95% of your journey. Step 2. Ask, what is the worst that could happen? Now that you have written down your fear, you realize it lies outside you and you have a better grip on it. The next step is to go deeper. Be honest and paint the worst case scenario. What is the absolute worst outcome that could happen from this situation? I remember when I was about to speak on video for the first time, I was nervous and literally considering not to record my video. I wrote down my fear, I'll stuff up, and asked myself, okay, if I did stuff up completely, in a way I am not able to speak a word on the video, what would happen then? Soon I realized how unrealistic this scenario was. Surely I would babble, mumble, mix up words, appear unconfident, but I wouldn't go completely quiet, right? So I changed the outcome to a more realistic. I will appear unconfident. And there it was, my realistic worst case scenario. I would fail to impress my audience by appearing not confident. Step 3. Ask, can I handle it? This is the last leg of the exercise. Once you acknowledge the worst, ask yourself if you can handle it. Human beings are incredibly powerful at handling stuff. Think about all the people in this world who have handled death, bankruptcy, loss, and separation. Perhaps they never realized they could handle it until the time came. In despair, we find strength from an unknown source within. We are wired beautifully that way. For me, I could lose those potential clients and followers with a bad video. But so what? I could always take their feedback and start over. When I looked at it squarely, it wasn't that bad. I could handle it. Answering the last question gave me strength to move ahead. When you get real with yourself, you will know that you can handle this okay. And soon there will be a time where you will wonder what you were so afraid of. I promise. Please hit subscribe and ring the bell to be notified the next time we are uploading an information transmission that will help you to find your truth so that you too can be free.